All right, guys, we're going to get started in 5 minutes. Get started in 5 minutes. Let me know if you're here. Drop a comment. We're going to start at 10:30, guys. If you're here, let me know. Leave a comment. Oh boy, just got a message that my 85-year-old father is on his way to New Jersey to see his sister, who may not be with us much longer. And it's hard for my father to travel. Oh, yeah. If you live long enough, you get old. It's a privilege not offered to very many. Guys, we're going to start at 10:30, which is in about 2 minutes. If you are here, please leave a comment. I am absolutely watching the comments. It will be thrilling to have you with me live, but I also appreciate you watching later. One more minute. We start at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. If you are here, let me know. It's now 10:30. All righty. Let's do this. Luxury is more than stuff. Luxury is an identity. What is the brand experience that you're offering? Is it Dollar Tree level or is it something more? Well, let's take a look. In today's episode, I'm going to share your story. Then we're going to look at what the Bible says, what academic research says, and then we're going to dive into the psychology of perceived value. So this is a weekly show that I do. The goal is to give you strategies to create brand elevation, especially influential reach. Trudy Beerman here of PSi TV. We're in the TV business, but we're really in the influential reach business with TV as our primary platform. When a guest comes on our show, we share the interview on 3 television platforms and other social media, total of 17 platforms. And depending on the offer that they choose, we also even guarantee views, and we can even do press releases, and our press releases tend to get picked up by 25 or more publications. We always make sure one is your local and one is your industry. So that is our goal, to give you that blue ocean separation from the competition, that you are featured as the star and the celebrity that you are. So let's watch this story. Let's see if it will play. Oops. Okay, well, let's do it this way.
Opening of a luxury store with a different name but the same shoes, and charged hundreds more for those same shoes. Customers paid. Here's ABC's Kana Whitworth.
Behold, Payless.
We built a fake luxury store in Los Angeles and filled it with Payless shoes. The guests at our grand opening party had no idea.
Guests invited to check out what looked like a luxury shoe shop.
They're elegant, sophisticated. I just think it's so classy.
And I could tell it was made with high quality material.
A $35 shoe going for $645, an 1,800% markup. Store owners sat on their heels as fashion influencers emptied their wallets.
I would pay $400, $500. Yeah. People are going to be like, where'd you get those? Those are amazing.
Then they're let in on the prank.
These are actually from Payless.
You've got to be kidding me.
Shut up. Are you serious?
But those shoppers were refunded their money and they got to keep the shoes.
David, Payless calling it a provocative social experiment designed to challenge today's image-conscious culture. Either way, it was an effective PR stunt.
Yeah.
David.
Clearly a marketing ploy, but they paid. Kana, thank you.
So what did you think of that? What did you think of that? What was your takeaway? Well, my main takeaway was location, location, location. Simply moving Payless shoes from their location, which is usually brand thrifty positioning, and moving it to a more upscale location instantly gave the same products a better perceived value, and people paid and paid gladly and bragged. One of the influencers says people would be like, where did you get those? Amazing. And then another one said, elegant, sophisticated. They were able to increase their price of the Payless shoes by $1,800 and made sales. So guys, I want to say that I want you to rethink and reframe your offer, your product, your brand, because it may not be anything wrong with it. When you get rejection, it's not because there's anything wrong with your product. It might simply mean that you need to repackage it and put it in a different location, because the location and the packaging change the value perception of the shoes. The same shoes, guys, the very same shoes. So your book, your product, your offer, your coaching services, whatever your business may be, when you're being rejected, it may not have anything to do. And when people say your prices may have nothing to do with the product itself, the offer itself, and have everything to do with the packaging and the location that dishes it out. Matthew 7 verse 6 says, do not throw your pearls before pigs. I'm no theologian. I'm not pretending to be one. This is not a theological dissection of this verse, simply an application, because I believe the Bible is a guide for life. I can apply it in every aspect to my life, not just my Sunday morning experience. So this verse suggests to me that it's not about pigs, okay, but it's like, you want to position your product, your offer, your service where it's going to be received, the ideal audience. There was a story of a young lady who was playing her violin in the subway and nobody paid attention, yet her shows are sold out with waiting lists. It has everything to do with the packaging and the location from which you deliver, everything to do with that. And this is where I believe TV comes in. So many of you may know I am a doctoral candidate at Liberty University. I actually started out with psychology and I shifted gears to strategic leadership. My research interest is influential reach, especially because I'm in TV. And this particular peer-reviewed research, academic research, was on the media influence of television formats on viewers. Now, this is what it says. According to A. Cavallero, 82% of responders admit that the most powerful influence on their value orientation, their value perception, is not the education process, but television. I'm going to say media, not just television, because my daughter-in-law in particular, I'm aware that herself and her sisters will make a lot of their purchase decisions off of something that's been recommended on Instagram. So I'm going to say media. The media is shaping and influencing value perception, not school. And if you are not on media, you're absolutely missing out. Now, social media is a free platform, guys. Anybody can be there. It takes nothing to be on social media. And so you should be there, because that's going to help with your digital omnipresence. We can't truly be omnipresent, but being on these social media platforms and being on media platforms do allow us to show up 24/7 across the board. So you do need to have a media presence. And where you show up in a Payless location. In my neighborhood, the nearest Payless location is in a strip plaza sitting right beside a Dollar Tree. Okay, it's not like in the story I showed you before in an upscale storefront in a California location. They created a higher value proposition when they shifted location. So when we're talking about the psychology of perceived value, there are 8 anchors that I want to leave with you. 8 anchors. The first of which is cognitive bias. Cognitive bias. Now, cognitive bias, there's 2 types of cognitive bias. There's anchoring and there's confirmation bias. Anchoring is when you're featured on television, especially PSi TV, it establishes an anchor point for your brand. The association with television it's a traditional and authoritative medium, and it can positively influence how your brand is perceived by creating a lasting and impactful first impression. Now, when it comes to confirmation bias, television appearances also serve as a powerful confirmation of credibility. When audiences see your brand on PSi TV, it reinforces the beliefs and the positions of you being an authoritative figure and enhances that confirmation bias associated with your value proposition of being on TV. Guys, the jokers are not on TV. The effort and the cost it takes to be on TV, they're not coming to TV. When you come to PSi TV, it literally will help to create a blue ocean separation of you from the competition, because the competition is not making the same effort. Now, caveat, a lot of you are thinking that the only way that businesses, the small business, the solopreneur, the author can be on TV these days is, the thousands of dollars for a 15-second ad spot. No. PSi TV has crush that business model. We have introduced the edutainment business model. We're knowledge brokers. We make you the star. You're the feature of your show. We elevate you. We celebrate you. And you're on TV, and it costs you no more than a date night. Now, date nights can range in prices, and so do our offers. But it will not cost you more than a date night to have a TV spot with PSi TV. I can't speak for other television channels, but with us, you can. And PSi TV has a channel presence on Roku and Amazon Fire TV and Vita TV. When you appear on PSi TV as a guest, we repurpose that content to 17 platforms in all. The 3 television platforms I just mentioned, plus YouTube and other social media. And depending on the package you choose with us, you can have a press release that is distributed out, and our distribution is usually 25 plus publications, and we make sure one is local and one is your industry. In addition, we can guarantee you views, so because we're going to promote your show. So I just want to just lock in that there's a cognitive bias of anchoring and confirmation bias when you appear on TV. But there's more. There's other psychological connections to the perceived value. There's also emotional connection. Now, emotional connection will have emotional resonance and social validation. Emotional resonance is when television provides that platform to evoke emotion on a grand scale, because of course we're video, so there's storytelling, visuals, production quality, and being on television allows for the creation of a strong emotional connection with the audience, elevating the perceived value of the brand or the individual. There's also social validation. TV appearances offer a form of social validation. When viewers see a brand or an individual on television, it tends to signal legitimacy and social approval. The validation contributes to an increased sense of worth and value in the eyes of the audience. Again, there is an effort and an investment to be on television. Not as much as people assume, but the jokers are not doing that. And that means when you appear on television, you have that blue ocean separation from the pack who may have a presence on social media. But social media can be a vortex, just this vortex. It just sucks you in, and then you don't get to be celebrated because there's so much ding, 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 ding going on around when they're consuming on a social media platform versus television. There's also there's 8 I mentioned. The second one is the emotional connection. Now, I talked about the emotional connection already. Sorry. So the next one is perceived scarcity. Now, perceived scarcity is a scarcity heuristics. Television spots are finite, and securing a slot on a popular show, especially like PSi TV, creates a sense of exclusivity. The scarcity enhances the perceived value of the featured brand or individual as audiences recognize the unique opportunity to be showcased on TV. Again, guys, the jokers are not there. So the audience understands that. So when you are there, it just delivers that legitimacy and that credibility to the brand. The next one is social comparison. And social comparison is actually an academic theory. A TV appearance positions a brand or an individual within the context of others in the industry, Being on TV allows for a favorable social comparison, positioning you as an entity, as a leader, as an innovator, as an expert, and increasing the perceived value. They're going to compare, guys. As the video with Payless showed, we live in an image-conscious culture. We live in an image-conscious culture. And if you don't realize that, you are missing out. And we don't usually get the second chance to make a first impression. So when you have a media portfolio and you have a TV spot in that mix, that is huge. That is huge, especially for others who are considering inviting you to their stage. The next one is the endowment effect. The endowment effect is similar to the trust transfer, but the endowment effect, the mere act of being on TV imparts a sense of ownership of the screen. You take up this big screen, and this ownership translates into an increased perceived value. Viewers are more likely to assign a higher value to the brand or to the individual simply by being on TV, which gives an inherent sense of prestige, which is usually associated with the medium. Now, I mentioned trust transfer. So the endowment effect is the association with prestige. TV is, one of the things with psychology is if you take up space, okay, you don't shrink and make yourself small, you take up space. TV is a big screen. You're going to come across in a big way. And yes, we do have other ways for people to watch a content. We do put it on social media. We do have our mobile app, which allows for that on-the-go viewing. So we are trying to make sure that when you're a guest on PSi TV, your content is shared where people are going to consume it. But if they do watch it on TV, guys, you are larger than life. You take up that big screen and you come into their homes in a big way. So you get that endowment effect, but the trust transfer comes from the host itself. So when you're invited to a stage, to a podcast, to a summit, to a webinar, to a television show, when that person who runs that organization is known and they invite you, the audience is going to perceive that, well, that person trusts you, therefore they should. It's an almost instantaneous trust transfer. Okay, so you can be a talking, like right now I'm like a talking head, I'm just talking to you, talking. That's just me. But if you are on with me, people who know, like, and trust me will automatically grant you a measure of trust transfer, versus when you talk about yourself, we're great, and you talk about yourself by yourself. It's different than when someone else is edifying and elevating you, as we do on PSi TV. I can't speak for all television channels. I can only speak for ours because I know what we do, because I decided what it is that we were going to do. Now, like I said, there are 8 anchors for this psychological value perception. Okay, so another one is the neuroscience of decision making. The neuroscience of decision making. We're kind of been talking about that, guys. The dopamine release. Television engages multiple senses. Guys, we're basically video. Presented on a large screen. So you have the visual, you have the audio. Some people have surround sound with their television sets, and you're having the props and everything, so they're hearing you, they're seeing you. It's the next best thing to meeting you in person. It's truly an immersive experience, and it gives a heightened sensory experience that triggers and releases dopamine, creating a positive association and reinforcing the perceived value of the content that they're consuming, the content that's being featured. The next thing is brand perception. Kind of that's what we've been talking about this whole time. The brand equity of being on TV, guys, the brand equity. Television is a mass medium and it enhances brand equity significantly. Being on TV contributes to the overall positive perception of a brand, elevating its status in the eyes of the audience, solidifying your position as a valuable entity. Last but not least, and this came out very strong in the Payless example, the influence of pricing. The influence of pricing. Now, guys, when I said a guest appearance on PSi TV is going to cost you the cost of a date night, okay? I'm not putting a hard number to that because I want this to be evergreen, number one, but also there are different price points for date nights. Some of you are just, maybe going to McDonald's. I don't know. But the point is, for the average price of a date night, we have different packages with that in mind. And so price is huge in value proposition. Now, TV remains a perception of being expensive. And that works for us because when people hear our price for a guest spot, it's like, what? And then they're wondering if you're going to get something less than, but I have enough evidence to show what they're going to get. One of the things that we decided on for that 15-minute guest spot, being at a price point that the value is perceived to be 10 times what you've paid is on purpose. We wanted you to, for the price you're paying for that television spot with PSI TV, that you perceive you're getting 10 times more value. And it truly is, guys, because we could absolutely charge more. We know what our competition is charging. But I remember when I had my message and I wanted to get to television, and all the barriers of entry, cost of which was not insignificant. And the moment I had the opportunity to create this agency, I wanted my peers, because they're like, Trudy, can we be on your show? Yeah, I got that feedback. And I said, you know what? Let me solve this important solution for many of you, because yes, we should be on social media platforms. We should be on Vimeo, YouTube, and all the others. But guys, TV is truly a blue ocean strategy. And it is really an opportunity that you should be including in your media portfolio. And like I said, if you have a media portfolio, because if you're going to be invited to stages, podcasts, and all of that, they're going to want to see your media portfolio. And having a TV spot in the mix is a good idea. So pricing. Remember, the Payless example was the same Payless shoes were now being offered at an 1,800% price increase, and people perceived it as that, because it has nothing to do with the product and everything to do with the positioning and the packaging. And television appearance aligns with a price quality heuristic. The association with TV is seen as premium and high quality. So it influences viewers to perceive you when you're on TV as a higher quality brand, and it increases their perception of you or your brand. So by leveraging these 8 psychological principles, being on PSI TV becomes a strategic tool for enhancing the perceived value and establishing credibility and fostering a deep connection with the audience. The psychological impact of TV can contribute significantly to the overall value proposition of a brand or an individual. You are a brand, by the way. You are a brand. So even if you have like PSI TV is a brand, but really right now the brand is me, because until PSI TV gets more known for PSI TV, the brand is me. Okay, that's kind of how it works. So guys, the goal that for PSI TV is to elevate you from the pack, give you that blue ocean strategy, and separate you from the pack, separate you from your competition. Okay, and that is the goal. So your next step, should you choose to take it, is to apply to be a guest on PSI TV. Apply. Not everyone gets selected, but apply. And we're very generous in terms of who we select. But if you watch our show at all, you know we have a certain type. We're an edutainment platform, not an edutain show, not an edutain. We're an edutainment platform, not entertainment platform. Okay. When you are a guest on PSI TV, or when you have your own television channel like I do on TV, which by the way, we build those for you, you will see an increase in your influence and your reach. Influence and reach are not the same thing. You might be a big fish in a small pond. You have influence, but your reach is very tiny. We say jump ponds and grow again. That's our reachology aspect of our brand. That's one of our offshoots, reachology. Jump ponds and grow again. Jump ponds and grow again. So you can grow from being just an influence in a small pond, and like your peers, your church, your friend group, and becoming influential in your town, in your city, in your state, in your nation, and maybe even globally. You will be the one that people want to hear from. You will have opportunities for guest spots on stages, podcasts, and more. Your name will be the first one that comes to mind for the thing that you do. You will be the obvious choice from the competitive pack. And people will recognize you, people who you don't know. People know me and I don't know who they are. The amount of people who recognize me and I have never met them before. You will also potentially be considered a celebrity and paid as one. Now, if this were of value to you, I'm not asking any favors. And if this were of value to you, then please like, comment, share. Someone else you know may need to hear this content. Share it, like it, comment. Tell me which of the 8 psychological hacks are you going to implement? Maybe you should implement all, but definitely consider some of those. And if you're ready for TV, go ahead and apply. Super simple to find. And I do look forward to connecting with you. Bye.